So, whoever knew the Springfield in The Simpsons was not based on the Springfield in Illinois. Regardless, the state does have its fair share of interesting paranormal events. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights for 3 of these ghost stories. Bells at night. To start off, I'm a 16-year-old girl, and what I'm about to write did happen, not just me, but to my mom and my aunt as well. It all started off in the afternoon. My mom and I got into a fight with my aunt about something stupid. When we finished, we didn't really talk to each other, so I went to my room and spent the rest of the day on the computer. It all started at about 11:45 p.m., and I never had anything. Anything happens to be that would be scary or paranormal. I was just getting ready to go to sleep, and since I share a room with my sister, she was already asleep. I went to the bathroom and didn't notice anything, and then I just went back to my room. I couldn't sleep yet, so I was just laying there on my back. All of a sudden, I could hear something running in the hallway. I knew it wasn't a person because it sounded like it was a small animal running, for example, a cat. The weird thing was that when it was running in the hallway, I could also hear bells moving with whatever was running in the hallway. I was so scared that I didn't know what the hell it was. I just continued listening, and I heard it was still running. It just went back and forth in the hallway with the bells ringing, and then stopped, and I heard a door creak open. I knew that it wasn't my mom's because she always had it locked, and my aunt, who is renting a room, had hers locked too. It sounded like the bathroom door from across my room, but I didn't know. I somehow got the guts to get up and turn on the lights of my room. I just stood there in my room waiting to see if I would hear anything, but I didn't. I opened my door and then turned the light in the hallway on really fast, but I didn't see anything. I then went and checked the living room and the kitchen, but I didn't see or hear anything. I just stood there in the hallway confused, and then my mom came out of her room and asked me what I was doing. I then told her about how I heard something with bells running in the hallway. My mom also went to check things out, but there was nothing. She just told me to go to bed and go lock my door. The next morning when I woke up, I still continued telling my mom about it, and she told me that she had also heard the same thing too that I heard. She said that she didn't want to tell me because she thought that I might get scared, but she also told me that when she heard it, she thought that it was me making the noises with my bracelets. But after what I told her, she was scared too. When we told my aunt about it, she said that something also scared her, but it was something at 4 in the morning when she woke up to go to the bathroom. She said that when she was going down the hallway where you could see part of the sofa, she said she saw what looked like a shadowy figure sitting there. She couldn't tell what it was because it was dark, but she said that when she tilted her head to try and get a good look at her, that whatever it was also mimicked her. She said that she got so scared that she forgot all about going to the bathroom and just went back to her room. Since that night, nothing has happened, but I sometimes think that I can still somehow hear the bell at night. I have no idea as to what that could have been, but the closest I can compare to it was a cat with bells running in the hallway. But my cat at that night was outside, and he doesn't have any necklaces of bells. So what do you guys think it could have been? Because I don't know. It kind of reminded me of the movie of Stephen King's Cat's Eyes, where there's this little troll after the girl. It did happen 100%, and the reason I wanted to share my story was that if there is anybody out there that might know of this or have an idea of what it might have been, please tell me. Thank you for reading. Brookfield Woods. I live in Brookfield, Illinois. Things out of the ordinary are continuing to go on in the woods. Apparently, Native Americans used to settle back there in the 1300s. Well, I myself witnessed the first orb sighting in my entire life on Monday, April 23rd, 2007 at 10 p.m. We were in the woods for over an hour, and I listened to one of the three people there telling us that they had past experiences. One odd thing that happened was in the river that runs by the path. The water burst loudly like a large fish that jumped up and back into the water. The river was still before that, and no trees had branches big enough to make such a large burst like that. Also, one friend of mine was with a bunch of people when he felt a baseball bat hit in his back. He fell to his knees, and the rest of them had to carry him out. There was no sight of an animal because they couldn't hear anything or see it. Plus, he was in the middle of a group at the time, and no one obviously would hit him so hard that he couldn't walk by himself. Then, another weird thing was occurring frequently. My friends and other people we don't know have seen actual orbs with a camera and with their own eyes. Some were red-colored, blue, and a dark, fuzzy, cloud-like figure. It would stay as long as a minute and then disappear quickly. This happened too many times. Well, this was all talk to me until I saw it that night. We were walking out of the woods and two of our friends saw an orb, dark color, and it disappeared. As we left, we turned back and watched all dark areas closely. After 2 minutes, I saw a blue circular orb that stood there for 3 seconds and then left. I wasn't joking. I was stunned by what I saw. I didn't look at any lights before. I seriously stared at the darkness and it popped up. Then we saw 2 more areas along the trees where a cloudy-like image would float and then move away. I really never believed in spirits rising or ghosts until I saw these moments. No one took drugs, and we had brains not to be lying and try to make publicity out of this. It happens too many times for it to be false anyways. We are still pursuing adventures out there to see what is happening. In conclusion, I speak with 100% truth of what I saw, and I will believe in it forever. Coffee time? Let me begin by saying, unusual occurrences are not new for me. Indeed, until I was in my 30s, I could see, hear, and sense things that others couldn't. However, these things deeply disturbed my then husband, and I pretty much shut it off, I guess. As they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. The ability isn't gone, just not as strong as it used to be. About 10 years ago, after the death of my 20-year-old son, I sold our large house and moved to a very small upper apartment in what used to be a single-family dwelling. It's a very old house. The foundation is limestone and river rock, if that helps date it for anyone. I've been told that places it back around the mid to late 1800s. For the past 10 years, except for hearing my name called out occasionally, as if to say hi, or feelings as if I've been hugged, nothing unusual has happened. Personally, I like to believe that hearing my name called in that manner is a family member saying hi as they go out about their afterlife. The hugs could be some product of imagination or a muscle twinge, I suppose, but I'd rather believe that it's my boy reassuring me that it's all okay now. I guess that's something else you should know before reading any more. I'm a logical person. I always look for an explanation before accepting something as unexplainable. Not all bumps in the night belong to a ghostie. However, recently, within the past month or so, things have happened that, well, honestly, I begin to wonder if maybe, as suggested by some others, I'm beginning to lose it. Actually, That's why I came here. For what I've read, most of you have experienced it and won't just write me off as being senile or something. Because of the economy, I took in a 30-year-old roommate. The only reason that matters is he's actually witnessed some of this, so I know I'm not imagining things. The first weird thing happened early one Sunday morning. I had just poured myself a cup of coffee when my roommate Jay came out of his room, which is just off the kitchen. We exchanged the usual morning pleasantries, and I sat my cup down on the counter while he's telling me about some new girl he's crushing on. I reached to pick it up, and it was gone. I looked in the sink, not there. "Jay, did you see what I did with my coffee?" He replied I hadn't moved from there. I even peered into the trash bin that sits next to the counter. Not there either. I frowned and poured a new cup, wondering if maybe I hadn't poured the first one to begin with. We decided to go sit in the living room and watch some TV. I stopped dead, rounding the corner because there sat my coffee cup, still hot, on the small table by my chair. Okay, that was weird. Since neither of us had left the kitchen, how did it even get there? The second experience happened about a week later. I woke up to the smell of freshly brewed coffee, which is unusual only because 1, I'm the only one that makes it, and 2, we don't have an automatic that you can set to do so. In order to get to the restroom, you need to go through to the kitchen. As I said, a very small apartment, and I could plainly see that there was a pot of coffee on brewing, the amber liquid still filling the pot. Well, I went and did my business in the restroom, and when I came out, there sat a cup of coffee, where I could swear there hadn't been one before. I could hear Jay's bear-like snoring from his room, but I still questioned him when he woke, and he insisted that he did not make the coffee either, so I just sort of looked about and said, "Thanks." I have to admit, getting a cup that I didn't make myself is rather nice, but made by a ghost? I'm not afraid or anything like that, just curious as to if anyone else has experienced this type of thing.